Hello, welcome to everyone. We're going to just wait a few more minutes to let anyone who may be joining have the chance to join, as it's just 6 o'clock on the dot in Europe, 12 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast, and I believe 9 in California. If you'd like to take this moment to write in the chat where you're calling in from, feel free. If not, also feel free, and we'll get started in a few minutes. Okay, I see we have someone from France. We have someone from the Ukraine. Welcome. We'll give it just another minute here and then we'll get started. Okay, let's get going. And if anyone else joins, they can just join in and pick up from wherever they catch. Okay, so welcome. My name's Kate. The purpose of our webinar today is to look at how to collaborate with influencers you know you can trust. So our goal is going to be to give you some ideas and strategies to find influencers that you feel you can trust and collaborate in your social media collaborations. So this is our plan for today. Just in a moment, we'll take a chance to introduce ourselves. We're going to go over some stats and concepts that are important to have in mind when you're doing influencer marketing in 2023. We're going to look at the difference between inbound and outbound in influencer marketing. Inbound and outbound are fairly common, concepts in wider marketing, but some people may not know what they specifically apply to when it comes to influencer marketing. So we'll review that. We're also going to take a look at some key metrics that you need to know for when you're evaluating influencers. And this obviously plays into a big part of whether or not you can trust them. Then we're going to look at using outbound methods to prioritize trust, and also how inbound influencer marketing can connect you with trustworthy partners. And I also wanted to mention that we're going to do Q&A, but we'll take a little break after each content section, and we'll check if you have any questions. So if you think of a question, feel free to leave it while we're speaking in the questions tab. I'll draw your attention to the bottom right part of the screen, and you're going to see questions in chat. So any questions, just leave them in the questions tab and then we can answer them. And if you want to share a comment or introduce where you're calling in from, or maybe if you didn't hear something and you want to check, you can leave it in the chat and our moderator will be answering in there. So without further ado, I think we can get started. So we're going to introduce ourselves, but before we do that, I wanted to just take a minute to introduce Moonio. Some of you, I think, already know the platform, but for those of you who don't, it's an influencer marketing platform that it strives to make your influencer marketing more efficient. So the idea with Moonio is that you can create your campaign there, and you can take advantage of both outbound, searching for influencers, and also inbound, receiving applications from influencers at the same time. And I'm Kate Santoro. I'm the content manager at Moonio. So if you have ever read our blog or downloaded any of our white papers, or if you're looking at these slides right now, you will have seen content that I've created. And I'll turn it over to my colleague Guille now for a moment so he can introduce himself.
Well, thank you very much, Kate, for all the introduction. I'm Guille Barrena. I'm a customer success manager at Moonio. And well, I think that some of or one at least of my clients is here today. Main goal on Moonio is to help all of our clients, obviously creating new campaigns, managing their campaigns with influencers, proposals, everything through the platform, and ideally to get their influencer marketing goals and objectives using the our software and our service. I think I'm continuing myself. So without further ado, Kate before mentioned the agenda, and we're going to begin with some stats about the sector for 2023, and also some concepts that we think they are important if you're currently doing influencer marketing or you want to start managing collaborations with influencers. Well, firstly, obviously, with any other talk about influencers, we're going to try to convince you that the influencer marketing is a great channel of for communicating your product or service. So we're going to take into consideration some insights from Influencer Marketing Hub, as you can see here. Well, the market growth, I think it's evident. So we can say that it's been major since 2016, and it's 12 times, now influencer marketing, it's like 12 times bigger than it was then. For sure, it's a very commonly used channel on mainly on digital marketing, obviously. We also like to take to know the importance of influencer marketing within the global marketing budget or a global marketing strategy. Us as marketers, we're always thinking about making the most out of our investments. On yeah, I think it's important to bear in mind these parts. Currently, we can say that 25% of marketers spend on average between 10 and 20% of their total budgets on influencer marketing. This is the average, but it's true that 23% spend more than 40% of their budget on influencers. This means that obviously it's a valid channel, and mostly for online commerce, for online businesses, brands, and companies. Influencers could be their main source of communication, main channel for communication. Sorry. Dealing with the influencer marketing budget increase, most of the people that try influencer marketing for their company or for their clients, they tend to go to enlarge the amount that they are spending year by year. 80% are spending more each year. Obviously, there's a small part of people that leave this channel, but on wide range, the people that tend to spend more money each year, it's bigger. In terms of networks, which is a common question always when I'm talking to clients and when they're starting doing influencer marketing, we all know that TikTok is there. We know that it's growing. It's a very important network, and currently is the most common network used when doing influencer marketing. It's true that we want to send the message that Instagram is holding strong. We know that some native TikTokers are also creating accounts on Instagram because they know that TikTok is really good network to gain a lot of visibility, to gain a lot of reach. But when they want when they want their followers to be more loyal and to get closer to their followers, they go to Instagram. So for sure, Instagram is still it's a really important social network for influencer marketing. Okay, I'm going to move on to the concepts within influencer marketing nowadays. I'm sure that probably all of you know about them, but I'm going to give a brief explanation or description. First would be UGC, or user-generated content. When we talk about user-generated content, collaborations are collaborations that whose focus is on the content creation. So if I'm a brand and I don't have the time to build a great social media strategy, maybe I want to do UGC collaborations to get content out of those micro or nano influencers. Usually they don't even have to post that content on their socials, but it's me as a brand that I'm going to use that content, and I'm going to publish those contents on my corporate Instagram, TikTok, or social network. Usually, what brands look for in UGC collaborations is unpolished content, very real, organic, so that they can seem to be very close to their current customers or potential customers. Moving on to the other parts, the most different side of influencer marketing, we can mention influencer relations, or as we call it, influencer marketing 2.0. Normally, this type of collaborations are managed with top macro professional influencers. So professional influencers are more willing to close long-term contracts. This means that they prefer to close annual contracts, for example, with brands that they really like, rather than doing one-off collaborations with on a monthly basis, for example. Usually, this dynamic has better results because the influencer is showing the product or service on a daily, monthly basis during a long period. So we can say that it comes a little bit more organic for the followers. And obviously, also, there you can see that 61% of marketers prefer this, because if you have the investment, think that you just have to do the discovery and the search part for the influencer just once in a year. So that's also nice for us. Okay, and finally, I know that Kate also created a blog post about whitelisting, because we were having a lot of questions, not only from clients, but also from freemium users. And whitelisting is just paid ads permissions. So this means that whenever you have a great relationship with an influencer, it doesn't have to be like a major creator, but just micro or nano influencer that you're doing recurring collaborations with, you can ask for permission to put ads on their Instagram or TikTok account. This means that as a user, when I'm going through my feed on Instagram or on TikTok, I can see ads that are not that are made by influencers, not by brands. And obviously, this has a better response from the user. So normally, this methodology, as I mentioned before, is done with UGC creators or nano micro creators that you already have a good relationship with. I don't know if we have any question, or well, our colleague here has shared the blog post that I mentioned. I don't know if you have any question for until now. No? Okay. So we can move on to the following parts. Okay, so inbound versus outbound influencer marketing. Kate also talked about this a little bit earlier, but what we call outbound influencer marketing is just the way of actively searching for influencers. It has been the way of doing things in the past. For us, that we've been doing influencer marketing for some years now, I'm sure that most people here have done like databases after searching for hours on Instagram for potential collaborators. That would be outbound. Okay, the strategy of searching for the influencer and creating a template to contact those influencers and actually contacting those influencers. You know that sometimes when doing outbound, the response rate tends to be quite low. Moreover, if we are contacting top influencers or macro influencers that are usually getting a lot of proposals in their email inbox, or if they are also managed by talent agencies or reps. So this would be like the traditional way of doing things. Obviously, it's a way of doing things, so we encourage you to still do so, because we also do that for our clients too. But we know that sometimes it's a little bit frustrating. And the other part is the inbound influencer marketing. This is one of our biggest values also on Moonio, as we're going to show you. But this is the magic, or the way that influencers come to you organically. So why we think that inbound influencer marketing obviously it's better. Obviously, if an influencer is contacting you or contacting your company or your agency, it's because they already have an interest on your brand, on your product, and probably the proposal, the requirements that they're going to ask for the collaboration are going to be lower. So probably the investments also is going to be lower. And if they know, if they already know about our products, or even if they are already customers of ours, the content is going to have better quality, is going to come as more organic. And yeah, we're very fans of the inbound way of doing things, and this is one of our great values in on Moonio, as we're going to show you. I don't know if there's any other question about outbound and inbound, or is it clear for everyone? Yeah.
Don't be shy with the questions. If you think of something, just leave it in there. We've factored it into the total time, so we have more than enough time and eagerness to answer your questions. Okay, so moving on, let's look at some key metrics for evaluating influencers.
Sorry, Kate, we got one question. It was in the chat, but I'm going to share it with everyone. So it was from Maria. Thanks, Maria, for your question. And it was, what are the perspectives of influencer marketing in TikTok, taking into consideration the fact that TikTok disabled links in bio and links in video description? Okay, Maria. So the perspectives also, well, mostly regarding TikTok. As I shared before, what we always recommend our clients is to, if they want to run collaborations on TikTok, is to mainly focus on views and impressions, because the best thing about TikTok is that you're going to get a great reach. So a great, if your objective mainly has to do with brand awareness, you're going to gain, it's like the perfect channel for it. If you're more into, obviously now Kate is going to talk a little bit about the types of results that you can expect from influencer marketing. And obviously we all want to sell, so that's a normal thing. But if you want to go for clicks and redirecting traffic to your webpage or your client's webpage, we always recommend Instagram. Also, bearing in mind what you mentioned before, because TikTok is now testing and has been testing with links and clicks for a long time now. So we know that Instagram does great, the clicks and the link sharing. So obviously, if that's your main goal, to go for new traffic and obviously sales, we recommend firstly trying to do your campaign on Instagram. Thanks to you.
Thanks, Maria. Okay, so as we jump into what metrics we want to look at when we're deciding if we can trust an influencer or not, there are a few key points that we want to keep in mind before we really dig into it. Well, as Guille was just mentioning, influencer marketing can have many different goals. It primarily is a branding strategy, but it can also lead to sales. And an important thing to think about here is that, driving sales through influencer marketing may be a little bit easier for certain business models than others. So a retail e-commerce might have a bit of an easier time driving sales through Instagram, for example, because their business model is just simply set up to sell online. So that's something that you should bear in mind when you're deciding what goal you want to go for in your campaign. Next up, I wanted to kind of frame these metrics that we're going to see in a dichotomy of thinking about what we can see from the outside, meaning by looking at a profile on social media, and what we can see from the inside, meaning that we have to do a little bit more extra work to get those details. So there is a difference between the metrics, and we're going to see that in a moment. Putting those ideas together, I wanted to stress that it's critical before you start looking for influencers to establish your campaign objectives and to also do an estimation of the results that you might get. This is just an estimate so that you can kind of drive yourself towards your goal, and also at the end measure your campaign and see if you did better, or hopefully not worse, but better, or maybe like equal to what you estimated. A few ways that you can estimate results is looking at past campaigns that you've run, the influencers that you're interested in. You could ask for some historical data about other campaigns they've worked on, and just try to see what you might achieve by working with them. Finally, and this is very important, before you do influencer marketing, you need to have your own content strategy and digital presence in place. And what I mean by that is, if you want to collaborate with Instagrammers, you need to have an Instagram, goes without saying, and you need to have some content. If you reach out to an influencer and they see that you have an empty profile or no profile at all, it's going to be very hard to kind of structure that collaboration. So making sure you have your own accounts up to par before you start searching is very important. Now let's jump into the metrics. Let's look at some metrics that we can see from the outside, meaning that if we look at a profile on social media, we can see these metrics. So first of all, we can see their content. And content used to be in kind of the back seat compared to other metrics like engagement rate or follower count, but it's really come back the last few years as being very important. And this is simply because with good content, you can reuse that in many places and get kind of a continuous value out of it. So anytime that you're evaluating an influencer, maybe the first thing you want to do before you waste time on the metrics even is looking at their content. Is it up to your brand standards? Is it aesthetically pleasing? Do you think that that influencer would be capable of applying your brand's voice and message? So I've left two examples of content here. One is a post. Content A is a post featuring a product, and content B is a reel that's kind of like a mini vacation guide to Copenhagen. And I was wondering if you wouldn't mind just sticking in the chat, which one do you think looks like it's of better quality? You don't have to give reasons or anything. You can just stick in A or B. Cool. I see a few people saying B, the reel, the TikTok. This is a reel, although I think she also posted it to TikTok. I think it was made for both networks, which relates back to what Guille was saying. There are quite a few influencers now that are creating videos and posting them to both networks so that they can get that reach on TikTok, but also that engagement with their followers on Instagram. Great. So I see most people are putting B, and I definitely agree with that. For me personally, the things that I see here that show me that this content is better is that first, it is a video. So that's going to be more engaging than just a still photo. The influencer also appears in the video. So we know that she's probably going to be speaking, or we're going to see her emotional reaction to things that are happening, which again, is more engaging than seeing a product laying on a surface. So good. I'm glad we agree about that. Next up, and this is also very important, you want to look at the values. And content and values, I know, aren't really metrics, but we group them in here with the metrics as well. So you always want to check if an influencer's values align with those of your brands. And I've put an example here from Patagonia, which is a sports clothing company that is very active in the environmental and eco-conscious sector. And if you look at their social media content, you're going to notice that they only collaborate with influencers who are usually athletes of some type that relate to their products, but who also share their values of protecting the environment. We can see that this post was specifically about protecting a place in the States called Oak Flat, which is popular among rock climbers. So Patagonia is a good example of a brand that really prioritizes values in their content. And this is going to make the content seem much more authentic to followers. Because imagine if you're a small fashion, slow fashion, eco-conscious brand, and then you start collaborating with influencers who are constantly doing kind of hauls of mass fashion and different clothes every day and buying new things all the time. The collaboration is not going to seem authentic, and followers are going to be able to see that very quickly. And probably if that's the kind of content they're creating, their followers might not be so interested in your values anyway. So always check for values and make sure that they align. Okay, we've put here impressions and views, and there is a slight difference between impressions and views. Views you can see from the outside, and we're talking about views on videos. So on Instagram, on TikTok, you can see how many people have viewed a video, and this is a great gauge of seeing, how many people that influencer is reaching. Impressions are slightly different, as I'm sure that most of you know. It's the time that content is displayed on screen. Many times these numbers are going to be either the same or similar. If you want to have really kind of the full breakdown of impressions, you're going to have to ask for that. But if we're looking at video content, we can see from the outside to get an idea of the views. And keep in mind that variables like the day, the time, and the network can affect the number of views, sometimes quite drastically. So it's not always fair to compare TikTok and Instagram, or a video posted on a Thursday afternoon with a Saturday night. There are many things that can affect the views that a video gets. One final point here to relate back to what we were talking about before with estimating your results. A good thing to estimate when you're preparing your campaign is the CPM. The CPM is the cost per mille, which is Latin for cost per thousand, and it's the cost for 1,000 impressions. So this is a metric that will give you kind of an idea of how much you're spending for that awareness that you're trying to get out of the campaign. We'll touch on CPM a little bit later, but as a general benchmark in the industry, now this varies a bit based on your country, but we would advise a CPM of $20 or lower is what you kind of want to shoot for. Finally, engagement rate is a metric that, well, not finally, we have a few more, sorry. But engagement rate is a metric that you guys are probably all familiar with. It's the average interactions divided by the number of followers. It's formatted as percentage. This is something that you can see from the outside if you do a bit of research and a bit of math. If you're like me and you hate doing math, I would recommend using a platform because it's going to calculate it for you and you don't have to do any extra work or spend any extra time getting that engagement rate. Okay, so we do have a few more. We have the inside metrics. And when we're talking about inside metrics, we said that you need to do a little bit of extra work to get these details. And the way that you can get them is by either asking the influencer for their media kit or for the metrics that you're interested in, or by using an influencer marketing platform. So let's take a little look at a few of the inside metrics. First up, audience demographics are very important for making sure that the influencer can connect you with your target audience. So you want to look at things like age, gender, location, language, and interests. This is especially important in situations like if you are a brand that can only ship to certain companies. You want to make sure that you're reaching people in those countries so that if they go on to want to buy your products, they can buy your products. Authenticity is also another really important metric. No one wants to be caught in the trap of an influencer with loads of fake followers. So if you use a platform, you can get an analysis of this, and the AI is going to estimate the percentage of audience that looks real by scanning for behaviors that are typical of bots. If you don't have a platform, you can't really ask an influencer maybe for this information, right? Because they could easily lie to you. But what you can do is do a little bit of research and analyze, measure the activity of their followers. You can look at their likes compared to comments and see if it looks like the balance is really off. Maybe they're buying fake likes or fake comments. You can scan through their comments and see if those accounts look like real people or if they're writing the kind of nonsense messages that we've, I'm sure, all seen from bots on Instagram. But it's always a good idea to double check the authenticity so that you can feel more comfortable trusting in that influencer before you go on to work with them. Clicks is another metric that's important if your goal is to either drive traffic to your website. This is going back similar to what Maria asked before, or if you maybe want to do sales, maybe you're interested in clicks, and you're going to have to ask for this information from the influencer. Some platforms will be able to provide this information to you because influencers can upload their stats so you can see that and not have to ask and wait for them to provide it to you. And now, finally, our last metric, fees. And this is very important because we all want to know, obviously, how much we might have to pay to an influencer for their work. So you can get this information either from a media kit or, again, from a platform like Moonio, where influencers can input their fees so that you have an idea right from the start what they're charging for each type of content. Yeah, okay. And before we go on to outbound, let's see if we have any questions here. Okay, so we have a question from Yelisaveta. I hope I pronounced your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. And she asked, what about whitelisting? Which best whitelisting on Instagram or with TikTok Spark ads? I guess it depends on your goal. I'm not sure, Guille, maybe you have more insight into
Yeah, usually whitelisting, as I mentioned before, it's more widely done on TikTok, mostly because TikTok usually is going to offer more reach. And at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, if you whitelist and if you do whitelisting with an influencer, there you're going to be able to add a link on TikTok. This is linked to what the question before. So now it is possible to add clicks just by whitelisting. So that's why probably you'll see more whitelisting collaborations on TikTok rather than Instagram. It's also usual, but I would go if you want to launch well, now bearing in mind that I don't know to your product, your service, your client, etc., or company, I would go firstly for doing whitelisting on TikTok rather than Instagram, because you're going to gain more reach, and then you can also add a link. So probably you'll get more visits to your website.
Cool. And oh yeah, you're very welcome, Yelisaveta. And it looks like I did pronounce your name correctly, so I'm very glad about that. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at how we can use outbound methods to search for influencers and prioritize trust at the same time. And we're going to work kind of backwards when we think about the traditional search model. And we're going to start with the people that know our product the best, who would be our customers, to then our brand fans, people who know our brand because they've interacted with us on social media. And then we're going to move out, if we don't find enough influencers, to look at opted in, which we're going to go into this now in more depth. So don't worry if you don't understand exactly what I'm saying. But opted in, just to sum up, are influencers who have registered on a platform like Moonio, showing that they have a vested interest in working with brands. And then finally, the last kind of step would be to look among all influencers, which could be influencers that have never heard of our brand before, but that we want to reach out to because they fit with our target for some reason. So if you would just give me a moment, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to show you Moonio and how you can do all of this with Moonio. And so if you've come today mostly because you wanted to see the platform, this is the part I think that's going to be interesting for you. We're kind of done with the theory now. So let's jump into it. Okay, so I think we can see the screen okay. If you have any trouble seeing the screen, please just pop it into the chat and our moderator will assist with that. Will let me know. It looks like it's good. Perfect. So this is Moonio, for any of you who have never been inside the platform before. And for this exercise, we're going to go to the Creators tab, which is our search tab. And as I showed you in the graphic, we're going to start because we want to find influencers that we can trust, which means that they're influencers who know something about our brand already, that will be excited to work with us, that are going to answer our emails or DMs. And so we're gonna start with our customers. Our customers are obviously people who already know our brand and already know our product, and they've already shown us that they have a valuable interest in our brand because they've purchased something from us. And when we work with our customers, there are quite a few benefits. So they know our brand already, as I just said. We know they love our products, so we may be able to compensate them for their content by giving them a package of free products or a free service or something like that. So our investment could be lower. Also, content that they create will usually be better aligned with our brand because they're already familiar with who we are, what we sell, and what we're all about. So on Moonio, just keep in mind that our customers are brands. In our case, we have kind of a unique case. But if your brand was looking at this tab, you would see anyone who has bought you. You define this list. You connect this yourself, so you can upload your list of customers, and you'll see the profiles here. And they'll probably look more like real people than our brand customers. In any event, what we can see here is a list, and we can get kind of some key stats, their categories, etc. And if we want to poke into one of these, let's say this one, for example, we can get a more detailed view. So we can analyze here, does this look like a profile that I would want to work with or not? And if it does look like someone that could be a good candidate for our campaign, we can reach out to them with one of these buttons. And I'll show you what these do in a few minutes. But I just want you to get the sense of how quick it is to move from the list to deciding to reaching out. Now, if we don't find enough influencers among our customers, we're going to open our search up a little bit more to include our brand fans. Brand fans are anyone who's interacted with us on social media. So they may have followed us or liked our content or tagged us or commented on one of our posts. And in our case, you'll see here, again, a mix of brands and creators who are interacting with Moonio on social media. And the benefits of the brand fans are similar to the benefits of the customers in that they already know something about our brand, right? Because they've consumed our content on social media. So probably they would have a good idea of what type of content they should create in a collaboration. They may not be customers yet, but they may be interested in trying out our products. So again, you may be able to have an overall lower investment by giving them an attractive package of products or services that may be kind of, maybe they were waiting for the moment to buy or a sale or something like that. And if you reach out at the right moment, you're able to kind of capitalize on that. And speaking of the right moment, we do have this search here where we can see a list. But another cool feature that we have in Moonio is our radar feature. And the radar feature is going to show you day by day the people that interact with your content. So you're going to be able to see the action that they took, if they followed us, or if they hashtagged us, and so on. I can load more here to keep going down. And when I open one of these, I can't do it. Wait, this one here, for example. I'm going to be able to see the post. I'm going to be able to see the caption. And if I want to reach out to this person right from here, if I know that this looks like a good candidate, I can send a message directly. And this feature is so powerful because it allows you to really take advantage of the moment. So if someone is hashtagging you or following you on social media, you're going to be at the forefront of their mind. So if you reach out for a collaboration at that moment, it's going to, the brand love is fresh. So you might have a better chance of closing a deal. Now, moving back to the creators tab, I want to just mention, to be transparent with everyone, the brand fans and the customers features are in the paid plans only. But what we're going to look at now, opted in and all, these are free to use as long as you have a campaign active on Moonio. So what does that mean? I'm going to show you an example of a campaign so we understand what that means. a campaign is basically your campaign briefing. So you're going to be able to post, let's take a look at this one with these fun socks. You're going to be able to post here a title, your brand is here, what type of campaign it is, if it's delivery, or in some cases, it could be a digital product, or it could be a walk-in visit where you want an influencer to visit your location, a store or a restaurant, for example. You can outline what you're offering. So in this case, we're seeing that they're offering a gift package, free product package worth $180, as well as 10% commission on any sales brought in. So this is a sales goal campaign. You can outline your creator requirements. You can put a little description so that the influencers looking here can get an idea of what you're looking for. And as long as you have this on Moonio, and this is free to create, we don't charge you for creating the campaign, then you're able to use the opted in and the all search as much as you'd like. And also, just to highlight that when I say search, I am talking about finding influencers, but the search includes reaching out to them as well. So let's do a sample search now to just get a feel for how this would work. Let's say that I'm running a fashion brand in the United States. I could plug in my fashion category, and I'm interested in the whole United States, let's say. So I plug in the country. And let's say that I want my influencers to have at least 25,000 followers. And for the sake of the exercise, let's say that I'm prioritizing engagement. So I'm going to set it at like a 3%, which is a high engagement. Again, as we mentioned before, engagement doesn't need to always be your priority. Your priority might just be content, and you just want someone with great content. But for the sake of the exercise, let's just say like that we're going to use 3%. So now I'm seeing, again, just to remind you what opted in means, I'm seeing influencers who have registered on Moonio. So these people have all been proactive in signing up for the platform and creating their profile here. So we know that they're actively interested in working with brands. Let's open up one of these. And what can we see here? So we can see that she's connected both her Instagram and her TikTok. So we can see her Instagram stats. We can see that she has also uploaded stats. So Moonio provides you with estimated stats, but we also allow creators to upload their stats, as these can change. And we always want them and brands to be able to have the most updated information published. I can also click in to see her TikTok profile, the same type of information. I can see if she's a brand fan of mine, and in this case she is. She tagged Moonio in a post. And then over here, I just want to draw your attention to this section. Moonio has a kind of cool community angle in that we show you other brands that influencers have collaborated with. So she's collaborated with us, and we can see she's worked with various other brands as well. And we also have the reviews feature, which is really cool because after a collaboration closes, the brand can review the influencer to say if it was nice to work with them, or in the sad event that there's a problem or something, they can put that here so that then other brands know if this person has been a good collaborator so far or not. And the influencers can do that for the brands as well, which is great for when you see the inbound part. When influencers apply to brands' campaigns, if the brand has a great review, well, then they're going to feel more confident and more eager to apply. Now, let's say that everything looks good here and I want to work with her. I have two options. I can invite her, which is going to open up a tab where we have a little pre-populated message, but I can also change this and write whatever I want. And this is going to send an email to the influencer inviting her to send us her proposal. So she's going to tell us, I'm proposing, for example, 3 stories, and my fee is $300 for this. Or if we want to skip that step, we can directly send her a proposal. So we can say, hey, Milena, she's called Milena, we want you to make 3 stories, and we're going to pay you $300. And we can put a little message in here to let her know. and send it. And the cool thing about this is that she's going to receive that proposal straight away like this, and it's going to jumpstart negotiations just from that moment. So you're saving a bit of time by kind of avoiding the initial, sometimes uncomfortable introductory phase. So those are opted-in influencers. And again, just to remind you, influencers that have registered on Moonio. And now let's say that in these 3 tabs, I still want to find more influencers. Well, then we can open up to all. And the cool thing about these filters is that I can just click over to another tab and they don't disappear. So I can save my search and just move over here. And I'm able to see, again, quite a few profiles that are opted in, but also the ones that don't have the blue tick are influencers that haven't registered on Moonio yet, excuse me. So if we find a profile that looks interesting, what we can do is invite them. And it functions the same way as the invite that I explained just now. We're going to put the message that we want here, and this is going to shoot an email to this influencer, letting them know that you're interested in working with them and that they can find all your campaign details on Moonio and apply right there. So these are kind of 4 steps in doing outbound. And again, we're working from the people that we can trust the most outwards to the people that we might have to do a little bit more work before we can confidently decide if we can trust them or not. I'm going to pop back over to the webinar here and see we have some comments. Wow, I love that feature. Great, Valentina. I hope that you try it out one day. And Kim said, are those stats just in the paid option? So the stats are in, I believe, only the professional plan, which is the $49.99 per month plan. That's correct, right, Guille?
Yeah, that's correct. Well, in the professional plan and in the advanced plan.
And in the advanced plan as well.
Yeah, both the paid plans. I think we have some other questions in the questions part. So first one was this one. On the radar, do I see all the people who interact with my brand or just the influencers? Well, obviously just the influencers. So this is not going to be full of your followers and any other accounts, but we take into consideration the amount of followers that the user that is interacting has. So if she or he has more than 3K followers on social media, you're going to be able to see a notification. Then we have another one from Lawrence. Super interesting. How do brand fans, radar, and the other feature of customers work? Not sure how do I connect my brand fans or customers with Moonio. I don't know. Maybe Kate, you can share, and if you can see with the question here. But well, you will have to believe me. in the customers and brand fans parts, you're going to have the ability to upload documents, mainly CSVs or HTMLs, JSONs, the way that you prefer. Usually for some of our clients, these features important are covered in the advanced plan, okay, in the 3rd plan of ours. So what majority of our clients do is to download this information from their Instagram accounts, the followers and following folder from Instagram, and then upload directly that document to the creator section. So we analyze those followers, and if we find influencers, they're going to come up in that section. And for the customers, same thing. If you have, for example, a list of emails from your customers, you can upload that list. If you need to sign a privacy contract, we can do so. We normally do that with some clients. And if we find influencers that have that match those emails or those Instagram usernames, if you prefer to upload that information, they're going to come up in the customers section.
And another thing important to mention here, since we know that everyone's use case is different, this list of customers can be actual customers, or it could be also, if you're promoting an app, maybe your users or maybe your affiliates. So it really depends on what target base you want to analyze. So we give you that flexibility with choosing. We have another question from Eileen. Thanks for the info. So far, so good. Happy to hear that, Eileen. Need to ask, you mentioned a free plan or what we can do the search for free, right? Can you tell me what's the main differences between your free and paid plans? Yes, I can tell you that. So the free plan is going to give you the basic features that you need to do influencer marketing. So you're going to have the search that we looked at, the tab for all and the tab for opted in. You're going to have the contact ability. Again, while you have your campaign active, but again, maintaining your campaign is also free. You'll also be able to do inbound, as we're gonna, right? Inbound, Guille?
Yeah, right.
Yes, okay. Inbound, which we'll see in a moment. The biggest difference is that in the pro plan, you're going to get all the analytics that we saw. You're also going to get customer success onboarding with Guille. So you'll have a fabulous meeting with him to go over your personal case and set up your strategy. And then when we bump up to the advanced plan, we're going to have the brand fans, the customers, the radar. You get monthly success meetings so that you can do regular check-ins.
All the
I think
stats,
those are, sorry?
all the stats
All
from
the stats,
influencers
yeah.
to, yeah, that's kind of the main differences from the plans. But you can always visit our pricing page. You have there all the features divided into plans. So if you have any other question, obviously you can feel free to contact us via email. And the final one was also dealing with stats, but we already covered this.
Yeah, I think that the moderator copied
Yeah,
Kim's question in here.
Yeah, they were referring to the actual stats from influencers. So they have the ability to upload their own stats, and for both the estimated stats and the real stats, those ones are included in the paid plans only. Yeah, so I think that now we're going to move on to the inbound parts, right?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up by showing you the inbound section. So
Okay.
let's
Yeah,
go.
as Kate mentioned, you know, the first thing that you need to do on Moonio is to create your campaign. There you're going to specify the type of your ideal creator, your ideal, this is the way of creating the campaign that Kate is now showing. You have to add in very few steps what your objectives and what you're looking for on Moonio. And once the campaign is live, this is going to help influencers applying to for this campaign. So if I'm an influencer and if I go to Moonio and if I'm looking for new collaborations, I can go to the marketplace section, which is this one. And here we can see by location, by category, all the campaigns that are currently live. This means all the brands that are currently looking for content creators. So as a creator, I can apply if I'm interested. So from the brand's perspective, this means that whenever I create a campaign, I can obviously search, as Kate mentioned before, and I start receiving proposals from people that is interested in collaborating with me. This is the collaboration section where I'm going to be able to see all those proposals. You can see that currently the design is really CRM-like because we know that some of our clients have different campaigns running at the same time. So we try to make a lot of filters, so filtering by campaign, by the status of the proposals, everything that you may occur. Here it is. So we're going to open some proposals. I don't know. Leslie, for example, looks cool. Here we're going to imagine that we're looking for people to collaborate in the United States, mostly for communicating Moonio. That is something that we normally do. We close collaborations with influencers to communicate the platform and to get new influencers coming to the platform. So Leslie looks cool. We can see that she's Instagram verified too. We have the information about her fees. So it could be a potential good collaborator, but maybe we could see other profiles too. Maybe go to the next one, Erica. Here we should bear in mind for sure our goals, as we mentioned, as Kate mentioned earlier, and also our budget, because as you've seen, they're already informing about their usual fees per content. Okay, so Erica looks cool. So I want to see if Erica has uploaded her, yeah, her stats. Good. This is something that I always suggest clients to do. Mostly if you're going to do paid campaigns. Okay, if we're going for paid campaigns, it's really important that we make sure that we're impacting the right people, as Kate mentioned earlier. So, for example, if I'm not mistaken, Erica, a majority of Erica's audience is located in the United States. So probably she's going to be a good potential collaborator for Moonio if we want to impact that market. Then we can go from the collaboration section, we can directly go to the proposal that Erica has sent to us, which is this one. You can see that it's very simple chats. In here, we're going to see the amount of content that Erica is asking for. And in this case, she's not even asking for a fee. She's willing to promote the Moonio because she's a user of the platform and she really likes the platform. Usually when we're reviewing inbound proposals, as Kate mentioned before, maybe we could find some people that is willing to collaborate with us with a very low investment. So we should obviously take advantage of that situation. So from here, as you can see, we can obviously go to the insights again if we want to review that. We can ask for any other type of insight that we may need. There's a chat. And we can simply accept the proposal if we think that we want to collaborate, taking into consideration those terms that Erica proposed. We can obviously modify the proposal, so we can start negotiating with Erica, or simply reject the proposal if we don't like Erica's profile or what she's mainly offering. So this is one of our greatest values on Moonio. When you create a campaign, obviously you're going to start receiving inbound proposals from people that is interested in working with you. So you don't have to put your focus on discovering, filtering, outreaching the simple, the traditional way of doing things. I don't know if we had. Okay, no. I thought we were having some other questions. I don't know if you have any question about the inbound part, because I know that it's the probably the most innovative part of Moonio. No. Okay.
So in that case, then, well, we're finishing up here. So just one last chance if there are any questions. We have a question from Kim. After the campaign, do we get to evaluate the influencer? And I believe, Kim, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I believe that you're asking about evaluate in the sense of leave a review about them if their collaboration was good. And yes. So after you close a campaign, the brand reviews the influencer and the influencer also reviews the brand. So that's a great way. If you've had a good relationship, if you've had good, they've been communicative and timely and they've created great content, you can leave a good review for them. That's going to help other brands see that they're a good collaborator. It's also going to help your relationship with the influencer because they're going to see the nice thing that you wrote about them in public. And it looks like there are no other questions.
I think that someone is typing right now. I don't know if we get another one. Oh,
great presentation. Thanks. Thank you, Madison.
Thank you, Madison.
And just to finish up, we want to say thank you to everyone for your time, for joining us today. If you have not tried Moonio yet, we encourage you to try it out. It's free, as we've mentioned many times. We're going to leave links in the chat in case you want to give it a try. If you're interested in seeing how the platform could relate to your brand and your specific personalized, unique case, you can also book a demo with our sales team, and they're going to do a much more personalized call than what we've done today. So, and last but not least, if there are any questions or concerns or comments, you can always write to us at support@moonio.io.
Right. And Kate, I know now when we close the session, they're going to be redirected to Moonio, if I'm not mistaken,
If
or
you'd like to check out the platform, yeah, just hang around in the room when we close the session and you'll be
yeah.
redirected. You don't have to even type anything into your browser. So thank you again.
Thank you very
Hope that
much.
you found it somewhat entertaining and very informative. And hopefully we'll see you in future webinars too. Have a great evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you're calling in from.
Yeah.
Bye.